borough-wide. Some of those reasons were expressed before in relation to simplicity of enforcement, in relation to simply moving an issue around the borough. It is an option for the Council to take, but it's an option that Licensing Committee are suggesting that we take the borough-wide option this evening.
And could you also respond to, I think, was the original point of order rather than the added point of order from Councillor Spinella? I think Councillor Bucknell had a point of order with an idea of amending things and deferring.
Yes, Mr Mayor. As we explained and talked about previously, the Council rules don't allow amendments to matters coming through from committees effectively on the hoof. This is something that members themselves can look at in due course, but one would expect, given the importance of something like this, that if there were amendments to emerge, they would emerge a few days before so they could be considered, etc., by officers, given particularly the fact that we've been through a consultation and this is a statutory licensing regime under statutory powers. However, I think actually Councillor Bucknell's suggested amendment would probably, I would suggest, be achieved by the Council actually voting against this policy, because de facto the matter wouldn't go forward from then. It would then be a matter for Licensing Committee whether or not they wish to refer something else to Council.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we now therefore move
Mr. Mayor, may I ask for a recorded vote on this matter?
Well, you can, but I hadn't actually called for that. So, I mean, that's premature somewhat, Councillor. Can we therefore agree the recommendation set out in the reference at page 2 of the supplementary agenda, including the subsequent proposal from the Chair and Vice Chair of the Licensing Committee, which is set out in the reference?
Stage, may I now ask for a vote on the matter?
Okay, you may. So that was indicating that you're saying no, perhaps. Is that what you're trying to suggest? Thank you.
I'm just trying to
in that case, we'll call for a recorded vote.
A recorded vote.
Mr Mayor, before we take the vote, can I just say that one last opportunity for the group opposite, who seem to have got themselves into a real mess, to say...
Councillor Moffat, please sit down. Councillor Moffat, please sit down.
Why not take this opportunity to refer this back? Why not take this opportunity... What is
Councillor
wrong?
Moffat, please sit down. You had the opportunity to speak in the debate.
I'm not going to sit down.
You had the opportunity to speak in the debate and you didn't put your hand up.
The party opposite, they have one last opportunity to refer this back to a more mature debate.
Councillor Moffat, you had the opportunity to speak in the debate. You didn't even put your hand up. In that case, we will remove to a recorded vote.
So, members, I will call out your name going through the group by group, and when I call your name, please could you indicate whether you are for the recommendations set out in the papers, against, or whether you're abstaining. And just so you're clear, your name will be taken down in writing and be entered into the minutes. So, if I could begin, Councillor Ali.
For.
Councillor Apac.
For.
Councillor Blackwell.
For.
Councillor Brayshaw. Councillor Callaghan.
For.
Councillor Eslamdoust. Councillor Fulbrook. For. Councillor Gardner.
For.
Councillor Gimson. Councillor Gould.
For.
Councillor High.
For.
Councillor Harrison.
For.
Councillor Hayward.
For.
Councillor Headlam-Wells. For. Councillor Jones.
For.
Councillor Katz.
For.
Councillor Katoon.
For.
Councillor Leach.
For.
Councillor Mason.
For.
Councillor McCormack.
For.
Councillor Olad.
For.
Councillor Petronoli.
For.
Councillor Kadir. For. Councillor Reaver.
For.
Councillor Robinson.
For.
Councillor Simpson.
Abstaining as Mayor.
Councillor Vincent. Councillor Vincent.
Mayor, for clarity reasons.
Councillor Bott. Councillor Bott. Councillor Bott. Councillor Braithwaite. Councillor Braithwaite. Councillor Chung. Councillor Eagling. Councillor Gerera. Councillor Moffat. Councillor Naylor. Councillor Ray. Councillor Riso-Gill. Councillor Saunders. Councillor Bucknell.
Against, venomously.
Councillor Freeman.
Against.
Councillor Leyland.
Against.
Councillor Marshall. Councillor Minnier. Councillor Spinella. Councillor Trott. Councillor Williams.
It's a Liberal. Definitely against.
And Councillor D'Souza.
Against.
Objections when there were adult social care cuts in here, which, you know, some people's lives...
Councillor Callaghan, sorry.
Now we know why our election results take so long to announce.
So I can confirm after the recorded vote that the recommendations are carried. There was 26 votes in favour, 1 abstention and 17 against. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the next item in the agenda, which is the... and would like to invite the Leader of the Council to make her statement, and then there'll be statements from the leaders of the opposition parties.
Mr Mayor, if it's